9 series to go here at day number 2 for the Intel Extreme Masters. Day number 3, I tricked you there, as we do have Group B currently unfolding before us. Our next match on the stream is going to be TY versus Harstem, and I am joined at the analysis desk here by Artosis and Todd. So far, so good. A lot of PvT. Who would have guessed in a group full of PvT? What have you made of it so far, guys?
Well, so far, like, I feel like Harstem is having a hard time in the group, and I know you mean like the whole group overall, but everyone's kind of in these different spots, right? Like, TY did end up falling to Stats, so obviously Stats is looking fantastic. Like, that's the match, right? If your Stats or TY, you beat the other guy, you're probably winning the group.
Koreans are still pretty good at StarCraft. That's what I learned today.
Koreans are pretty good, yeah. No, they're all right.
Imagine that.
And, I mean, we have some other guys in here that are pretty good too, like Neeb.
Yeah.
Yes.
Didn't do so well in his earlier match, but he's actually going to play against Alive here in a minute. I'm going to be keeping an eye on that for you guys.
Yeah. Awesome, thank you. We can take a look at the standings so far here from Group B as well to get you up to date with what is going on. So at the moment, we did have our Group A going on with Beyond doing very well there. Alive is leading the charge at the moment at the very top here with a 2-0 in series, and Stats keen on his heels as well. So far, so good for those guys. Any surprises there? I think the standings look pretty normal.
Yeah, it doesn't look like too off. Like, Alive, he beat Harstem, who seems to be having a little bit of an off day. Like, he had some advantages against Neeb and, like, didn't bring him through. And then the games against Alive just looked rough for him. Yeah. So I believe Alive's other match might have been against Jokji. Is that right? Alive
versus Jakji is Alive Harstem and Alive Jakji. Yes, you're correct.
So I think that Alive leading this group right now is a little bit tricky to look at because he hasn't hit, like, once you hit Stats and TY, that's where your losses start coming in. So I think that the rankings are a little bit deceiving this early in the group. Yep. But I mean, Alive is good enough that he could get out, obviously.
All right, well, we can move our focus now to the game at hand. It's going to be TY going up against Harstem. Difficult times ahead for Harstem, I feel. Any other thoughts than that?
After what's happened against Alive, I have to say, like, I'm very worried. I hope he can stay composed, learn from his mistakes, and basically play the best StarCraft he ever has, because that's what it's going to take to be TY here.
Yeah.
That TY is so fearsome. Like, TY had the sickest series against Stats, who ended up beating him, but, like, Stats is probably the Protoss that Harstem studies, right? So to be able to hit that level and take out TY would be an amazing run here for Harstem. And if he doesn't, he's just probably got almost no chance at that point, right? Yeah. You're down 0-3, and it's...
Yeah, I mean, his next matches don't get any easier for Harstem either. He's going to be going up against Stats after that, and then finally he'll round things out with Jakji, who, as much as this group, you know, is very, very stacked, Jakji I would consider one of the weaker players currently in this group, but he's still very strong.
WCS Europe throwback, by the way. Remember when Harstem and Jakji were in the same group, and he was 3 Terrans with Harstem, and he trained super hard against Terran? That's when he started doing really well, actually, back then against Terran. Maybe he can remember that time somehow, you know, keep a good mindset and put up a good fight here. I certainly hope so, because I wouldn't want to see anybody be at the bottom of this group, you know, not really able to put up a fight. And so far, we've got some guys leading the show and some others really struggling in this group.
So as you mentioned, the other series that we will be getting into later on, here at the desk even, I should say. Neeb versus Alive, you'll be covering that, Todd, I believe.
Yeah.
And then we have Stats versus Jakji, which Mr. Tasty Tosis will be following.
Oh. Okay, yeah.
Did you get the wrong one?
Stats versus Jokji, yeah. No, I didn't quite, but almost.
You almost
Anyways,
did.
Yeah. I was, for some reason, I was like, oh, it's Stats versus Alive in here. Okay, and I just told both Stats and Alive to invite me. They must be confused.
Okay, awesome stuff. All right, so I think we are almost ready to go over to our commentary team here for our next series of the day. So without further ado, we can head over to them for TY going up against Harstem.
G'day guys, I'm Maynard. With me is Roddy here for the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice Group B, and we have got ourselves a pretty huge match here between TY and Harstem. Now, Roddy, I got to ask you, man, does your Dutch pride give you the energy to change a prediction other than a TY 2-0 here?
No, I don't think anybody on the internet would believe me anymore. Harstem so far is indeed having an off day, or at least a rough day. I didn't see the games against Knee, but from what I heard from Artosis, where he opened up with a Stargate against a Disrupted drop and he made Phoenixes and ended up losing because he didn't catch the Prism twice. Like, I don't need to see a game to hear that something must have gone terribly wrong, because, you know, that's not supposed to happen. The games against Alive, I really don't think it was terrible, especially not the first game. He just kind of got tricked. I showed it there in the end. And that can happen. The second game on Newkirk, he had a rough start. Then he really turned it around. I was like, okay, you know, now he's really starting to find his stride. He's going to go for it. And then he just kind of sat there and he let Alive climb back up from 110 to 170. I mean, obviously, you can't really bust a 2-base Terran either. It's tough, man. I haven't really seen where Harstem or Kevin truly wants to go with his PvT, but he needs a very clear-cut plan if he wants to take out this man, that is TY.
Yeah, a tall mountain to climb for sure. So TY, obviously his TVP is pretty amazing. Couldn't quite get over Stats in the end, but Stats, you know, it's been brought up a couple times, is, as it stands, a contender for the best Protoss in the world right now. And there's been many years of Harstem, or years that were supposed to be the years of Harstem, that didn't quite pan out that way.
Oh, last year was a pretty damn good year.
Last year was pretty damn close,
He's still the only foreigner who has won 2 major tournaments.
Ah, that is true.
Won the Home Story Cup and also won the Gold Series International back then in Shanghai.
It's actually very good for Dutch StarCraft players last year, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I know. We dominated in Shanghai. Thermal won in Shanghai, Harstem
China's
won
the
in
place.
Shanghai.
Maybe it's the Warcraft 3 hype.
I don't know what it is, yeah. I mean, Grubby had a lot of success in China as well. So did Lutot, but let's not tell him I said that.
Hopefully he's not listening.
No, we don't want to feed that ego. It's already so big. The first map, I believe, is going to be played on Newkirk City. We already saw Harstem on Newkirk against Alive as well. Newkirk is a tricky map because it's obviously incredibly good for drops. There's a lot of airspace around the bases. Forcing a Stargate opening is obviously also something that a lot of Terrans, I think, are okay with. I like the way that Stats played on this map. I mean, I thought it was super crazy, you know, with his super fast Oracle and his fast 3 bases. But if you can get something like that done, that'd be awesome. I also would be kind of happy if Harstem just saw something completely different, you know, from iPad. You rush up to a Disrupted drop, or you go first Colossus and then something else. Because it does really seem that Phoenix Adapt, as good and powerful as it can be, I think it's going to be very hard to catch TY off guard.
So you think he needs to do something a little bit other than the standard, or like something that TY has seen 1,000 times? Pull a rabbit out of the hat or something like that?
I think if your build doesn't work against Alive, I think there is even a smaller chance of it working against TY.
Yeah, well, good news is the game is ready, and let's see if the Dutch Protoss Harstem can come up against South Korea's heavyweight TY. This Terran, one of the Elite Four.
The Elite Four, I like it.
That's right.
The Big Four.
The Big Four, the Big T's. And in the bottom right here, it is the man in question. This is Harstem.
Ah, he's starting to sing. Whenever Harstem is singing, that's in general an indicator that he's feeling good and that he's ready to rumble. He's ready to bring the pain to this Terran, spotting on the left bottom side. One of the Elite Four, as Maynard just said, it's TY.
That's right. For you guys tuning in from home, the Elite Four, and maybe you missed it a little bit before, they are we are regarding the top 4 Terrans at the moment in the world, which of course all reside in South Korea. Got TY, Innovation, Maru, and Beyond.
Who's your favorite?
The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Who's your personal favorite?
Look, I really, my face and heart lights up when I think about the world champ. That BlizzCon, him winning GSL as a solo guy. I really think that it's hard to go past. I don't know if he's the best Terran. In fact, I kind of feel like he's not, because Innovation has had such a sick win rate against people that are, you know, his level. But Bjorn is just someone it's hard not to love. So he'd be my favorite in the 4 horsemen, the Elite 4.
I love Maru.
Big fan of Maru?
I'm a big fan. Like, that kid is amazing. He's the only guy that I truly think I wish he was here. You know, it's a shame that he wasn't. I would have gladly made like an investment in Maru and be like, hey man, I'll pay your flight, your journey, and your hotel.
You can be Clan Roddy.
But we'll do Clan Roddy, and we'll do 50-50 on that prize money if you want. Because I'm guaranteed, man, that man would finish top 4, and that I would have a plus EV investment there. Unfortunately, he's not here, but I think TY is amazing too, and obviously Innovation is the machine himself. They're all amazing players to watch, but don't forget about Ryung and Alive and Gumiho as well. I mean, they're all here, and they're all making a very good impression on us.
So it looks like going to be some proxy action here for Harstem by the looks of things. A Zealot heading across the map, that's usually an indicator there's going to be some very, very quick proxy.
But he does have a Nexus as well. We saw Hero go for a proxy Stargate earlier today against Ryung, I believe. No, it was against Beyond, excuse me, on Cactus Valley. But he did it off one base, and he stayed on one base for such a long time.
That was a really insane game.
Yep.
I remember watching that earlier.
So I don't think Harstem wants to proxy gate. I think he just wants to pylon rush. However, the CC is on the high ground, so perhaps he's going to change his mind now, and he's going to be like, well, I don't really have to do something too crazy. He can still fly in the mothership core, get a good scout off, maybe get lucky and get an SCV. But when you fly into TY's base 100 times, maybe at once you get an SCV, but not more than that.
Yeah, that's right. And this is going to be one of the 99. TY shooing away that mothership core. She's not going to get any damage done. The probe already left a while ago, so we knew that it wasn't going to be a pylon rush. SCV getting into the main, has a look. Doesn't see a ton, but sees enough. Didn't see the Stargate at the back.
Did Harstem see everything in the main base of 2i? He didn't see that much, right? Did he at least see the timing on the factory and start? But no, not even. So good job there by TY. Harstem completely in the dark. Obviously, I do think this is the build that Harstem is expecting. You know, just a regular CC on the high ground, followed up with a factory and a starport. But it's risky, you know. These are things that you much rather confirm than playing the guessing game. I think that Zealot should be able to see the Widow Mine.
This actually looks like a bit of a Maru build here, where you go for the mine drop. You usually send the first mine over to the third Nexus location and just bury it right on the probe, really.
Good job there by Harstem, at least having the scouting probe active as well. We'll be able to buy some time and make sure that this mine doesn't just wiggle its way into the mineral line.
And there's that drop with the Marines and the Widow Mine. So this is a pretty common build here. No doubt Harstem's hit it once or twice. See how his reactions go. That Widow Mine decided not to hit the third. It's just going to come back home, bolster his defenses. There were a few adepts floating around the field. That's always dangerous.
Now, in the game that Harstem has played before against Alive, this is where he just took a little too much damage already against his very first drop. Now, these Terrans in general, they are way too good to make it easy on you. They will always stay in range of your pilots. You can see that TY is not really committing. Now, Photonova Charge is active, but all he takes is 3 shots. And now he still has this Widow Mine here as well. But the adept count is quite high, and Harstem is actually handling this a lot better than he did before. Even triggers the mines with a probe.
Yeah, really nice play with that probe there by Harstem. Great control here. The adepts coming in way too much for these 4 Marines to handle. And TY is looking for an angle to do some damage. He has gotten 4 probes so far.
Which is amazing, right? Like, it really feels that Harstem is doing everything right and then somehow ended up losing 5 workers. It's just that players like TY, they're so incredibly good and they'll absolutely get maximum value out of the mobility of these Terran units. In the end, this medevac will fall, and I still think this was proper defense by Harstem. Oh. That was silly.
Well, I mean, he will get his Marines eventually if he chases. Doesn't look like he's going to. Oh, there we go. But the medevac going down is nice. The Phoenix is still alive. TY's transitioning, though. You go into a Liberator straight after your first medevac that's about to come out here, and he has the bio tank sort of follow up as well on the ground.
You know, when I think of the top 4 Terrans, right, like, I think that innovation is just incredibly solid all around. Obviously, has very good builds, has good execution, has good micro. If I think of Maru, I think of godlike speed, right? Maru is just everywhere at once. If I think of Beyond, I think of godlike micro because he saves units like no other man on this planet. When I think of TY, I always think of the very strong, just contains, the way that he executes the build. You know, the builds, they are all incredibly streamlined. They will hit at the right place, and he will absolutely make no mistake, and he will set up contains like no other Terran will do. So it's very important for Harstem that he doesn't eventually force himself to run into one of those, because that's just where it will go wrong. Trying to engage him perhaps in the middle of the map or shave up a couple of units somewhere. Good job there, not falling for that trick. You see what TY is doing? He's putting a Marine on top of the mine in the middle of the map. He's like, hey, Phoenix, you should come. Or maybe the Oracle as well. Yeah, I think Harstem is going to fall for the trick as well.
Maybe. We got the Liberator here. The Phoenixes are across this other side of the map, and
He's going to fly over the mine.
Oh, boy.
Not the Oracle, not the Oracle. Okay. That's the best case scenario there. I mean, it still takes a lot of damage on the Phoenixes, but if he loses the Oracle, that's a lot more painful.
Yeah, the Oracle is still alive, which is all right for Harstem. Small victory there. And it is going to be the Phoenix Adept, or it is already the Phoenix Adept unit composition here with Resonating Blaze 3/4 of the way done, +1 on the way for the Gateway units, an extra few Gateways going down. And it's a very, very strong unit composition, but as Roddy mentioned, he feels like this is something that TY is going to be able to handle pretty well as far as predictions go. But we'll see how it unfolds. TY heading across for a push on the third Nexus here, just with Bio in mind.
This is something that Harstem should absolutely be able to deal with, as a lot of those units are not here yet, and TY actually already has 3 bases, but didn't really get much value out of it yet. I think that TY just wants to trade out some units there, and he's also opening up some space in the back of the natural. Once again, finding an opening, killing 5, 6, 7 workers already.
Yeah, that's actually, like, even if he loses the Liberator, that's absolutely worth it to kill 8 probes there. So, well done by TY. Harstem losing more of that that economy. He's actually very close in economy to TY, though. But again, that's, you know, that's damage you don't want to take at this point when you're on 3 Nexus.
A couple of those Phoenixes are quite low on HP.
Careful! Oh.
I think he saw it, perhaps. That would have been amazing if he did. Did Harstem ever see the third CC of TY? That's obviously a pretty... Yeah, he did.
Yeah, mainly in the natural there.
Okay.
Of course, we know that it's mining, it is saturated, both players with pretty similar incomes. TY is just ahead, he does have mules, and Harstem is looking like he wants to gear up for, especially the top there.
He loves his booby trap, doesn't he? Like, hey, I'm here again.
Tricky. Surely Harstem doesn't fall for it twice in a row.
And the first one was more by accident, right? Because he was just rallying his units back. These 2 Marines are going to try to see if Harstem has any plans of going up to 4 bases. I don't know, man. I feel like whenever you play this unit composition, right, the Phoenix Adept, you either need to find an opening and do crazy amounts of economic damage yourself, or you need to hope that the Terran is overly aggressive and you can just shade in on top of that army. But TY is just playing this very patient right now. He's taking his time, but I don't mind it because Phoenix Adept truly falls off. Is this Terran army grows to like 160, 170, 180, you can't just win with Phoenixes and Adepts anymore. You need a little more, but a lot of Protosses seem very paranoid about transitioning out of this.
Harstem fighting a nice spot between the 2 turrets here to warp in a ton more Adepts into the main of TY. TY out of position, needs to lift up in the medevacs and get in here to defend. Meanwhile, Harstem coming in to hit the 3rd CC here. The Liberators are set up and there is some bio. That's a ton of Adepts. Unfortunately, Mine's hitting a lot of that, or a lot of the Protoss units and softening them up. Will Harstem be able to break through?
Yeah,
doesn't look like it.
Doesn't look like it indeed, Maynard. Those missile turrets pushed out a lot of damage as well, and those Phoenixes. TY cleaned up the Adepts in his main base as well. Really didn't lose all that much. And suddenly Harstem is down 40 supply. Let's take a look at the unit's lost resources, because I have a feeling that was incredibly painful. How effective, Maynard?
Jeez.
Only 2,300 minerals. The bunker did so much there. The mines did an incredible amount of damage. He's making it look easy. There's no other way to put it.
He sure is. Harstem's going up to 4 Nexus now, trying to make lemonade here out of these lemons that TY is giving him, because he is in trouble. There is a lot of army supply here for the Terran, and Pre could pretty much force an engagement and win this one by the looks of things. He's heading across to the 3rd Nexus here. What does Harstem have left to defend? Not a whole lot.
Couple of Stalkers. I'm not even sure if Blink is done yet. Guardian Shield is not ready, and the Adept count is just not high enough anymore. He throws down a Time Warp. Well, Time Warp is not very effective these days. The Liberators are moving forward as well. I'm afraid that this is it. I really don't see any way how a 45 supply of Protoss can beat 105 supply of Terran with 1 upgrades as well. TY started stepping forward.
Yeah, he's stepping forward with overwhelming army. That's just easy peasy lemon squeezy for TY. Game 1 goes to him. And he is already on match point here. TY has been doing pretty good in this group so far. Harstem, unfortunately, already on 0 and 4.
0-5 right
0-5, actually.
Yeah.
There you go. Wow.
Map score wise. Rough game again, right? Like early on, it wasn't that bad, but it's just these guys, they're so incredibly good with their units. They won't just die. They won't stand there with the Marines and lose them against Adepts. No, they'll pick them up, drop in the natural. And obviously a medevac with Marines is a little faster than a couple of Adepts. So they always find an opening. Even if you defend it well, they'll still find an opening. And yeah, TY played an incredibly good game there.
Yeah, a bit of a TVP masterclass there from TY. We're going to go over to the desk to see if the guys have any thoughts on that game and some other games going on at the moment.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm getting reports from Artosis that the game between Stats and Jakshi is coming to a conclusion. So,
we went into a base trade. Let's get right into this. It was a Command Center first opening, and Stats went into Oracle, into the Glaives and Phoenixes type of thing, and has tried to get into High Templars, but a base trade has occurred, and Stats only really took out the 3rd base of Jakshi before he stabilized it. Look at this. Oh my god, that's a lot of Liberators. And Stats has had a bigger economy for almost the entire game, but his units don't stack up that well. It's been kind of crazy.
Maybe there's 2 stacked actually, because they get hit
God.
by all these storms.
Oh my god. And now that looks like, well, Jakshi's still got a lot of supply.
Yeah, no, he still has a really big army. Like, I mean, I know that we're all talking about how great Stats is at this matchup, but Jakshi has played a very solid game here.
All right, cool. Well, that looks like it will come to a head very, very soon. Thank you very much, Artosis. Todd, you were following Neeb versus Alive, which game number 1 has just finished.
Yeah, we barely missed the end. Berkshire Vestige, just a solid game all around from Alive. He dropped initially a couple Widowmine and then 2 Marines, kept on doing that more and more damage then with Liberators, and ended it around, I think, 10th, 11th minute mark. It's just a massive attack that Neeb just didn't have enough for.
All right, well, thank you very much, gents. I'm hearing that game number 2 between TY and Harstem is ready to go. So we shall head on back to the caster's desk for game 2.
All right, let's get into game 2 really shortly here between TY and the Dutch Protoss Harstem. TY at the moment large and in charge with a 1-0 map lead, and that game did not look close.
No, it wasn't. I'd be lying if I said I did think it was close, or if there was any point in the game where I truly felt that Harstem had a chance to do something. I like the War Prism arrest, but the way that TY cleaned it up, it was easy. He sent the right amount of units. Harstem thought he saw an opening at the 3rd base. He's like, all right, maybe this is my moment. There's 3 medevacs full of bio defending my Prism. This is where I should go for it. Well, Widowmines, Liberator, Bunker, Missile Turret. Just TY didn't lose much at all. I must say, Maynard, so far today, like, I was incredibly pumped for the groups, and I really thought we were going to see like this sick clash between some of the best foreigners in the world and the best Koreans in the world. Well, the best Koreans out there. Obviously, there's only one Korea. But other than a sick game that we saw from Snoot against Beyond, obviously it was absolutely fantastic game. And Hero Marine getting 1 map away from qualifying for, you know, the round of 12. Hasn't really been the day yet of the foreigners. Now, it's not done yet. Neeb could still do it. Maybe Harstem can have a sick turnaround, but it's not a success story.
Yeah. Today has certainly been pretty much all Korea, but don't fret, guys. We do have 2 more groups tomorrow as well. In the top left here, we have got the Dutch Protoss. This is Harstem. It's not singing anymore.
It's a bad song.
Ruh-roh.
Over here on the right bottom side of Cactus Valley, we're looking at the main base of one of the absolute best Terran players in the world. It's TY. I don't know why I said Terran. He's just one of the best, period.
One of the best general, yeah. So I've seen TY at a few events. I've never seen him smile. Not once.
Wow.
I've even seen Maru smile.
You want to know when TY smiles?
When he won $200,000?
No. When he's around Juanito. Really, TY and Major are big buddies, and
awesome.
Major makes TY small. TY is actually very funny. He had a great time in China, and that was even before he won, but maybe he had this feeling. He's like, this is just a beautiful weekend. I'm about to win $200,000. But yeah, he had a great time. He was interacting with all the foreigners, a lot with Neep, a lot with Harstem as well. Mostly with Major, as Major Major is a massive fan of TY. For all the right reasons.
Most Terrans are.
Yeah, for all the right reasons, I know.
Yeah.
But no, he was having a good time. He was interacting a lot with the foreigners.
Oh, that's awesome.
They were having a ball.
Very, very cool. Well, I mean, if I'm talking about my tournament experience as a commentator, Roddy, anyone trying to chalk that up to you is like, it's a little bit silly. You've been at what, 80 now? 70, 78, 80?
Plenty.
Plenty, a lot.
Show us that you can do it in a field where there is innovation, where there is Dark, where there is Beyond, you know, where there's multiple Koreans. So I'm sure that he's incredibly eager to win this one too.
Oracle opening here for Harstem. TY looking like a regular bio opening here. Nothing really out of the ordinary for him. This is actually the triple racks expand is something that pretty much just works in Cactus Valley, I think. Maybe Honor Grounds.
Yeah.
But it's a TVP build, and it is very, very, very nice for Terran. It reminds me of a lot of the old school builds. But yeah, you know, speaking of this tournament in particular, this is, you know, if you win this tournament, you do have a ticket to the Global Finals at the end of the year. And obviously TY wants that very, very, very badly. So you're absolutely right. Every player here in Poland right now is taking this tournament very seriously.
Did make it to the WCS Global Finals last year, went into the quarterfinals, and was a big favorite against Beyond because he has never lost. Back then he had never lost a TvT series in Legacy of the Void. But I had that feeling, man, that back then, Bjorn was just the man to win that tournament. It was written in the stars.
There was some magic in that at that global final that it was kind of hard to describe. Oracle coming in here, getting 4 SCV kills, pretty nice.
Yes, very solid start. I also love the opening, by the way, as we were just talking a little bit about StarCraft in general. But Harstem going up to 3 bases, 3 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. Perfect answer, I guess, against the CC first. It's still crazy to me that, you know, Protoss players do this, but it does make sense, especially against CC first, because it takes quite a while before Stimpack is ready. And any sort of Terran army that doesn't include Stimpack, well, unless we're talking 200 supply of Ravens and Taurs, it's really not that impressive. Or BCs.
But BCs. We'll see them one day. Oh, Harstem loses an Oracle there for free to TY. Oh, 2 Oracles have a lot of punch, but one's just, you know, it's half as good, quite literally.
Yep, and now there is always a chance that you fly it into a mine somewhere, somewhen, and then suddenly you have no Oracles. Harstem knows that that is a mistake that's not supposed to happen, and you can't make those mistakes. If you want to take out a player like TY, you just can't do that.
Now, Harstem's making a robotics bay here. Now, do you think this is a Disruptor Den or a Colossus Den?
I think it's for Colossus. I think on this map going Disruptors that early, I honestly think it's a preference thing, but without Blink, without really having a Twilight, I kind of feel like this has to be for Colossus. And TY is also incredibly heavy on the Marines. Like if you make Disruptor against someone like TY, you know what's going to happen? He's going to split his Marines like Moses, and it's not going to hit anything, and you're about to die.
One Adept going down there, some Stim Marines. They don't have medevac support, so they're not going to go too far here. TY looking for that 3rd Nexus. Is down here to the left. He has seen it. He had a Marine on the left there.
Colossus and a Void Ray on the way as well. I think it's very smart. Void Ray can obviously help shut down. Cactus Valley is a map where medevacs can bounce around between his 3rd and the main, and it's incredibly annoying to defend if you don't have a whole bunch of Phoenixes, or if you don't have at least a bunch of Blink Stalkers or feedback. You know what TY is doing right now? He's just sharking around. He's just denying all the map vision. He's looking for an observer. He's looking for that pylon or that probe, and now he's picking up an adept. And this is where things get scary for Harstem. Good job there by Harstem, paying attention to that Oracle, tagging the army. But he's going to have to be careful because he knows that the upcoming 2 minutes are dark and full of terror.
Full of Terran.
That too.
There's a lot of it heading towards the 3rd Nexus here. He sees doom and like he sees it coming, but can he stop it anyway? Like it's quite a lot of army supply. His army's not too bad here. He's got an Immortal, handful of Adepts, and a few Force Fields available as well, and a Guardian Shield.
Oh, well, here we go. 2 medevacs, but there is that Void Ray denying access. Well done.
Very nice by Harstem there. The medevac's coming down, and they have to engage at this 3rd Nexus. Harstem forcing the fight. Decent enough Force Fields, catching a couple of his Marines, and the Colossus is here as well, and TY needs to pull out.
Solid defense by Harstem. That one Void Ray truly making his life so much easier there. Denying, no medevacs are welcome over here with those 2 pylons as well, and the Mothership Core there too. Not sure what the probe is doing. Good job by Harstem.
Medevacs. Another good tag. So yeah, he's been doing really good this game. This one Oracle that managed to stay alive has been quite important for him this game. Quite crucial.
I actually think this is the best position Harstem has been in at least the PvTs that I've seen. There was this one moment against Alive where it looked alright, you know, he was even. And there was this other game on Newkirk where he did win the fight, but since he was down in upgrades, I didn't really want to say he was that far ahead, but he was, you know, it was looking decent. But this is actually looking very nice. You've got a solid 3-base setup. He really didn't take any economic damage at all.
Branding, baby.
Yeah, that Adept, he's repping the company. That's a real company man right there.
That's right.
Give him one of those i7 PCs. Looks pretty good.
Oh yeah. Terran coming back again. Harstem obviously aware he did tag it with the Oracle. He's got a couple Colossus now. TY not with any Vikings just yet. He may have cut a couple out. 2 are definitely on the way here, and the Armory is on the way.
Doesn't he have double port already, or am I crazy? I thought I see this.
It might have been. Yeah, he does. There you go. So he can actually make 4 at once.
Yeah. This is obviously the moment where it's important for Harstem that he's not too tunnel visioned on what he's currently facing. Good job there as well on the Photon Overcharge. Unfortunately, Blink was not available yet. He doesn't take any damage. How many probes did Harstem lose this game? 0.
Damn.
That's very impressive. Against somebody like TY, not losing any probes in the first 8 minutes and 40 seconds. That's good news.
71 probes, actually. That's a ton of probes. Definitely doesn't need any more of those. Versus the 59 SCVs of TY. So he is set for economy now. It's all about the production, getting that army out, and being able to counter what TY has. Keeping up with those upgrades as well. We see 2-2 on the way for the Terran. Harstem's got +1 attack, and he's getting +1 armor.
I love how this is a thing these days where everybody puts like one adept, or in Terran sends like 2 Marines. Like, okay, that's not enough. We'll start sending 3 Marines. Gotta be a little careful with the Colossus, but the Marauder count is low, so he gets to swipe off there. A couple of very low HP Marines.
I think we're going to see a lot of Vikings though. There they are, just chilling at that 4th CC, or the 3rd CC rather. And there's a Ghost Academy right next to them underneath as well, which is a very scary structure for the Protoss army. Do see Blink just about to finish here.
This is kind of sick that a TY that easily goes up to 4 bases. So for all the praise that I gave to Harstem, which I do think he deserves, I think it's been a solid game, he hasn't really done any harass, right? Other than that very first Oracle getting 4 SCVs. You do eventually kind of want to get a Prism somewhere, or at least have a pylon, because you can't just let a Terran go up to 4 bases and not kill any SCVs at all.
Looks like this mine might have killed a probe trying to make a Nexus there. Obviously it's blocking the structure from getting dropped down at all, and yeah, it did get it. Observer speed 3/4 of the way done, and Harstem switching from Colossus Tech into Disruptors.
That's interesting. I'd also really love to see the Templar Archives. He's rich enough, right? Like, he's 1,300 minerals, 600 gas.
He has the economy for sure.
Yeah. It's going up to 4 bases. I'd really like to see it. Let's take a look at the vision of Harstem. How much does Harstem see?
He's got a spread of adepts.
Yeah. It's pretty decent. The only thing that once again is lacking is any sort of map presence on the other side of the map, right? No War Prism, no pylon. That's a little bit unfortunate. I'd love to see a Templar Archives. Other than that, I think this is a very playable game for the Dutch Protoss.
Looks like Harstem has some adepts on the right here. 2-2 about to finish for TY. This is a nice timing for him. 10 seconds away. Looks like some shaded adepts here looking for some counterattack, but the main battle is right here at the 4th Nexus that Harstem is trying to get up here. 4 Colossus, that's quite a lot of splash damage with a Disruptor on the back as well. Let's see how well he connects. That's a lot of Vikings.
There's adepts everywhere.
All the EMPs hitting the Stalkers here. They're already at half hit points. The Colossus moving forward, they're starting to go down in number. Is Harstem going to be able to win this fight? It looks pretty good. He's cleaning up the Vikings, and the SCVs are going down back at home to the adept harass.
Well done, Harstem. Actually, it's a shame that the other adept is not in range.
Get to work.
Yeah, if he brings that one a tiny bit closer, maybe he could have killed a few more. Killing 13 SCVs is incredibly nice though, and picking off all those super expensive Vikings is as well. Harstem is in a sweet position. I just like to see a Templar Archives. Instead, he's going to go for a Dark Shrine. Maybe we're going to get some Blink DT action again. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, as a Terran, I'm definitely afraid of Templar Archives at this point. Extra splash damage. He'd have all the splash damage in the world against units that are very, very susceptible to them. And we have 3/3 or +3 attack on the way at least for TY. Disruptors getting reinforced here. Harstem's army very scary. 108 versus a 90. TY's isn't too bad either, especially with this choke and the Liberators. It's a little bit awkward to go up here into the Bio Concave.
Yeah, especially without a War Prism. It really, if you want to go for it, if you want to start trading, that's all right, but at least get a Prism. You want to be able to reinforce on the other side of the map because it takes a long time. I believe TY is sending a drop on the top side of the 4th base of Harstem. It's just a Liberator.
Liberator's not sieged just yet, but she will in a second. Harstem repositioning his army. He has tagged TYs as well. There's that Liberator getting to work, getting a handful of probes here. Harstem warping in some Stalkers. That's a free shot there on that Bio. And TY's coming in. Is Harstem going to overextend here? Let's see.
Vikings doing a lot of damage on these Colossus. It's a big army by Harstem, but it's a lot of Stalkers though. I'm afraid the moment the Immortal goes down, he doesn't need to get a couple of big hits up, but it's still only Stalkers and there is no way to reinforce. Look at these just couple of Marauders pushing out a lot of damage. Harstem is, however, doubling the supply. Is he doing it? Has he broken TY?
I think he's done it for game 2 here, Roddy. He is large and in charge. A reinforcement. The SCV's off the line for TY. Will he be able to stop these Stalkers? A huge Disruptor hit, getting rid of those scary Marauders. And GG! Harstem ties it up one apiece.
Wow, Harstem beats TY on Cactus Valley.
Woo! Dutch pride coming back. Are you feeling it seeping in, Roddy, a little bit?
I'm feeling it. That's good for him as well. I mean, it's obviously great for his confidence. Harstem lost the first 5 games he played today. He just played really well here, other than losing that one Oracle in the main that shouldn't have happened. But it seemed like it really didn't upset him that much. On purpose, I looked at the player cam because often a player that's already on a losing day, when they make a silly mistake like that, that's when they truly start shaking their head. Not much of a reaction there. Like, obviously a tiny one, like, oh, that shouldn't have happened. But it seemed like he really forgot about it quickly and just went along with the game plan. And he played excellent.
A well-earned victory there for Harstem. We have to go to a game 3 for a decider. But first, let's go to the desk and check in with the guys.
Thank you very much, gents. Yeah, indeed, Harstem embracing the defensive Protoss, welcoming TY and defeating him in the process. Welcome back to the analysis desk.
Let's go to this right
laptop
now, man.
2.
This is crazy. We have a huge shade forward. It's Stats versus Jakji. Jakji took game 1, and here you see a big attack just came in from Jakji. Of course, it is Glaives and Phoenixes, because that's what Stats likes to do. And I mean, I guess it's looking to me like he's going to be able to take this one.
Yeah, it's all over the place at the moment.
But, you know, that first game, of course, we were in the base trade. It got pretty crazy overall, but Jakji really turned it on a little bit after we took the camera off of the in-game.
Yeah, I think the situation you had showed us seemed to be way better for him economically. So.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, here, Stats is doing a good job. Jakji opened this game, actually, with kind of an interesting double Cyclone, 1 Widow Mine push that a lot of Phoenixes in the Oracle really kind of slaughtered off. So.
Yeah.
Oh, he has no upgrades. Other than the +1 attack.
Wow. Look at that. Well, I mean, he's on
What is this game?
Yeah. No,
Like burning buildings and flying command centers.
This is what PvT is going to be for this tournament. It's a lot of adepts and a lot of crazy things happening.
I was going to say the previous game was the huge base trade weirdness, right? And now we're in this. Well, thank you very much, Artosis, for the great update as to what's going on in this series. Over on the other side, of course, we do have Todd, who was covering Neeb versus Alive, which came to a conclusion.
Yes, Alive was up 1-0 in second game on Proxima Station. We had Neeb actually go for Phoenix opener with an Oracle. Perfect defense early on. I really think he was in a good position up until that point here. So we can take a look. So Alive, we're in the late game now. Both players have 4 bases. I want to focus on the Alive's vision. Well, I'll show you really quickly though the army of Neeb. So he was splitting all over the place because Alive kept dropping, so he's got units a little bit everywhere. You see like the main chunk is on the 4th base. So Alive did a drop here that did some damage that forced Neeb to bring a lot of units back and that used actually a lot of his overcharges. That was calculated by Alive. Behind this, he scans here, kills the observer. He knows that Alive is not gonna, Neeb's not gonna have vision. What does he do? Big pickup, and he's gonna head straight for the main base of Alive. I apologize for the observing. I'm doing my best.
That's fine. You normally have me doing it when we're at the desks.
So let me see if I can speed it up a little bit. So he sends this at the bottom. Big pickup there, and Neeb has no idea. The observer was scanned for, he only had 1 more, but I wasn't in a good position, so he goes for the main with this. And he basically, by doing this, forces Neeb to not be able to split properly. He attacks this base and the main base at the same time in a very Bolt-esque fashion. And there is just too much from there, it just powers through. You can see like the split of this army here is just not good enough, so this is gonna get crushed. At the bottom, he pulls back on time, not to lose everything. And then after losing your main like this, I mean, you're just in so much trouble. Supply plummets for Neeb, and Alive takes the win.
Felt like Neeb's own buildings worked against him there with the situation Terran had set.
Oh, it always does, yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, gents. We can get back into game number 3 now, of course, between TY and Harstem, as Harstem took a brilliant game number 2. Let's see how it goes.
Well, let's see if Harstem can have a brilliant game number 3 here as we go into Abyssal Reef for our final battleground between these 2 players. TY, of course, I would say would still be pretty favored here, especially on Abyssal Reef. But, you know, we've been surprised already, and that was in Cactus Valley. Dreams do come true.
Definitely a couple of upsets today already, especially early today as well. I mean, we opened the day with Hero Marine 2-0ing Solar. Unfortunately, in the end for Hero Marine, it wasn't enough to advance, but he got so damn close, and he can be very proud of that performance. And perhaps Harstem can turn the tide as well. Obviously, had a rough start in his group. He was 0-5, but now he evened things up against, well, the Terran is spawning in the right bottom side of the map. But we're looking at the main base of our Red Protoss, hailing from the Netherlands. I just mentioned him. It's Harstem.
Solid intro. Nailed it. You know it. And in the bottom right, one of the Elite Four, one of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. This is TY.
You are probably wondering, like, what's happening today? Like, why am I losing to Protoss? It's been a while since this happened.
And it's not like that was a crazy cheesy game either. That was a regular, like mid to late game, macro PvT.
Yep, just the attacks early on. Harstem was rock solid. The Voidray really kept his main safe. Went up to Colossus. It's obviously the super fast 3 Nexus that gave him a pretty big economic boost. TY did try to counter that by going up to 4 CCs fast, and he sort of did, but just the fights that actually happened, especially the big fight near the 4th base of Harstem, which was obviously a fight that was really supposed to go in TY's way. At least that's how he wanted it. That one, Harstem just didn't lose all that much. He survived with all his Stalkers. Even one Colossus survived, I believe, and that was just a dominant victory for him.
Yep, well played indeed. So, not really a whole lot to talk about in the early stages of this game. Guys, let all your friends know that there is still a bunch of games still to go down for today. I think we have 2 more best of 3s after this. That's right. So we've got 2 more best of 3s after this one, and then of course tomorrow, same time, same place, we'll have Group C and Group D. They're going to be crackers as well.
It's going to be so fun. Tomorrow we'll see Cyril play. I'm so hyped.
Cyril.
Cyril's the new kid on the block. Well, he's been around for a while. He was already super hyped a year and a half ago, or at least a year and 2 months ago, and then he fell off a little bit, but Cyril is back, Maynard. Cyril is going to deliver.
Well, he's looking real good. And I think Nurchio's in his group as well, so.
Yep.
A lot of strong, couple of strong foreigners in there.
Yeah, and then we have Group D, Dark, Innovation, Showtime, Mana, Gumiho, Utermo. What a group!
What a group, man.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Like, that group is incredibly hard to predict for me as well. Obviously, everybody will say, like, well, Innovation, Dark, 1 and 2. Yeah, and after that, maybe Gumiho, maybe Utermo. We'll see, but...
Actually, you know, we did some predictions earlier, and I actually picked Ephemeral for 3rd.
Yeah? That's a very ballsy
It's my Dutch pride. Yeah. I like to make a ballsy prediction every now and then.
I think I went for Showtime in that one.
That's also a pretty good... I mean, Showtime's incredibly strong, so it's not silly to say so, I think.
I think Showtime, out of all the foreigners, is, like, overall the most solid. But yeah, let's see how well Cyril will do. And obviously I'm incredibly excited to see Billy as well. It's going to be so fun. What a unique opportunity for that young man from America / Kazakhstan. It's going to be so cool. But for now, we still have a couple of additional PvTs to cast, I assume, as Harstem is going up against TY in game number 3. So far it's more of the same. Ooh, the 2 Hellion opening. That can actually get something done. If this Reaper can do a good job in pulling the Adept out of position, the Hellions could swing in. Harstem is once again going up to 3 bases so fast that these Hellions could potentially punish him. And if he he's trying to block the Reaper, good job there. He pulled the probe.
Wow.
You saw that?
Yeah, nice body block there by Harstem. Great micro. Does get rid of that Reaper. The Hellions coming in and getting some probe kills though. Only a couple, not enough.
That's not enough at all, indeed. Like 2 Hellions and a Reaper for only 2 workers. Well done by Harstem.
And we saw that, we didn't really touch on it because we're so used to seeing it, but TY popularized the engineering bay block, and we saw it there in the natural as well. Just sort of making things a little bit tougher for the mining of the Protoss in the early stages, but not a big deal.
Very early Viking there. That's kind of interesting.
Expecting a Warp Prism or an Oracle, I suppose.
That's going to help.
It's a Stargate there, so he's expecting an Oracle.
It's going to help a little bit against the Oracle. Obviously, the Oracle doesn't have that much energy since it activated its energy to deal with the Hellions. That's a good cause, obviously, that the Hellions do have. They forced the Oracle to stay home, and it wasted a little bit of his energy. Losing the Oracle is obviously a lot better than losing your SUVs.
That's right. See the structures of the Terran switching around here. He is starting to get up into his production. And yeah, it's looking like it's going to be Phoenix Adept here from Harstem again.
Shocker.
Shocker.
These Protosses, they love their Phoenix Adept.
Well, you can't really blame them, Roddy. See it happen on your stream quite a lot as well.
Yeah, but in this matchup, I always think it's so hard, personally, as a Protoss player myself. I find it very hard to make Phoenix Adept work. I'm not saying it's not good, because obviously it is good. If all the best Protoss players in the world do it, needless to say, it's good. But I personally struggle a lot with the mines, with the Liberated. You know, early on, like, yeah, I can see why it's incredibly good. But at a certain point, I always feel you have to transition. But I find that sweet spot so hard to find. Like, when do you go for Storm? Or when do you go for a Colossus? Or when do you go for whatever you want to go for, right? Maybe a Disrupting.
I was just about to mention why the Oracle hadn't been searching for mineral line kills yet. But it is moving across with a double Phoenix escort. Ooh, yeah, he sees it there. He can tag the Marines, and he does.
That is a very good revelation. Makes Harstem's life a little bit easier. Who's up 7 workers once again, with the Resonant Glaze more than halfway done and +1 more than halfway done. if Harstem wins this game, then TY is going to be in trouble, Maynard. Then it's going to be 1 and 2 in this group.
It's actually very true. I mean, every single win in this, every single series matters quite a lot in this sort of round-robin setup we have for the groups. Stim about 3/4 of the way done here for the Terran. Harstem did tag the Marines. He is ready.
Yeah, it seems like he perhaps wants to jump on top of this army. He has the Phoenixes here as well, so technically it's supposed to get hard, but these Terrans are so smart in dropping the Marines on the high ground and low ground. Make sure they don't fight the Phoenix and the Adept at the same time. Meanwhile, during all of this, there was a Widowmine drop going down in the natural. Is there a robotics facility yet?
Just started now, so a little bit late on that, but that's okay. Can use the Observer, the Oracle to get rid of that Widowmine if he absolutely has to.
That's what he did.
Yep, done and dusted.
But now he doesn't have much energy as he used multiple Revelations on top of the Terran army as well. But I still think that, yeah, and the rocks. I still think that TY is not incredibly pleased with how this is going so far. He's like, what's a man to do to get an opening, you know, these days?
Yeah.
Like,
Revelation's making things tough because Harstem knows exactly where his attack is at all times. He doesn't know about this medevac though, heading in with a double mine drop. But luckily for Harstem, he does have a Phoenix patrolling at the top here. He'll need more than that to burn it down, but he'll at least have be able to react to it in time. Ooh, TY sees these Phoenixes, stims away from them. Harstem picking off a Marine and using the terrain to his advantage. Looks like he might get the medevacs here. Here comes the mine drops.
Good job there as well, tucking that mine away behind that gateway. Gets 2 workers and a lot of damage on the mothership core. It's gonna drop the additional, no lift. There is a lift on the last second. That's very important, otherwise this would have been incredibly ugly, because then again he's forced to use 2 Revelations.
I think Harstem managed to kill both those medevacs in the middle of the map as well. Nice little pick up there.
Does he have energy? Okay, he's building an Observer.
A couple of Adepts coming in here, getting a couple SCVs, maybe 3, and he does get 3.
He could focus fire on the Oracle, and that would be really painful. Harstem fortunate there that TY not paying attention, because if he does pay attention and he focuses the Oracle, that would have been an ugly one.
Ooh, switching in a blink here. +1 armor on the way. Just about to finish up. The one medevac did survive that Phoenix battle in the middle of the map there.
72 against 71 army supply, incredibly close game. Upgrade-wise, TY should have +1 obviously, right?
Yeah.
As +1 armor is halfway done, but it's very playable for Harstem. I'm actually kind of surprised. I'm a little lost for words, because after that first game and starting the day off 0-5, I really didn't have a lot of confidence.
You don't expect game 2 and 3 to look this close after game 1, certainly, because game 1, you know, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That was a boppin'.
Yep, it was. It was an absolute ruffle stomp. There's no other way to put it, but things are looking up for Harstem. The Dutch Protoss is getting his RoboWay as well. +2 is starting. Blink is on the way. This is obviously a very sweet moment for TY to potentially fight. If we can get a good setup with the Widowmines, if we can get a good setup with the Liberators. If I'm Harstem, I'd probably just cancel this fort base. Sometimes I think you have to make the mature decision to just let the fort base go and don't take a terrible fight, because you don't want to lose everything. I mean, he's killing SCVs again on the other side of the map.
Yeah, Harstem's picking the right time and the right place to send those Adepts in. Look at the SCV kills go up here. Up to 6 with 2 Adepts. They're absolutely worth it, and still going.
He is still going indeed. TY really wants to force this fight. Harstem should not step into the liberation zones. Like, once again, I think canceling this Nexus, there's nothing wrong with it.
He has to.
Alright, there we go. Very last minute cancel. And during all of this, he did kill workers. Now a double drop is heading to the main base as well, though.
Yeah, double drop here. The Phoenixes are coming down. No mothership to overcharge these pylons. There it is. The overcharge going down now. Disruptors starting to come out for Harstem here. They can assist, but they really should be down here because there is a lot of fire here for TY, pressing the issue.
Somehow that Immortal lived. I have no idea. Truly living up to its name. It was absolutely supposed to die. It was in the middle of a line of fire. Harstem kind of shutting down that double drop and now sending a lot of Adepts towards this third base of TY.
Yeah, that's a mineral line killer right there. TY, speaking of mineral line killers, is doing not too bad in the main of Harstem here.
It's getting so close everywhere, man. That is madness.
Yeah, action all over the map here on Abyssal Reef for game 3 between Harstem and TY. Harstem is tearing apart the SCV line of TY. TY doesn't have enough to come home and clean it up. He's reinforcing this attack on the Nexus, which needs to go well for him. He needs to get this Nexus and kill probes.
He should still have quite a few Phoenixes, right? I think he needs to bring the Phoenixes here. Now a Disruptor is coming in as well. Can he get a good shot off? TY is going to try to shoot it down. He does not before it blows up, but the Liberators are pushing out a lot of damage. 5 Phoenixes. I think if he brings the Phoenixes, I mean, there are still Widowmines, but I think the Phoenixes can really make the difference there.
Absolutely. Harstem did get a ton of SCV damage down in TY's base for sure. He's knocked him down to 40 SCVs versus the 63 probes. He's reinforcing this with gateway units. The Disruptor killed both the Widow Mines with the Disruptor hit there. The Phoenixes are still chilling at the top of the main.
Oh, terrible Phoenixes, traitor Phoenixes. Those Widow Mines doing more friendly fire though. All the Liberators have died. He should be able to clean up the mines if he brings over an observer. During all of this, TY does start +3, and +3 will have a big impact on this game. Look at Harstem's macro. It's slipping a little bit. I can't blame him though, because this game is just ridiculous. There's so much action everywhere. You know, we've seen a lot of F2 usage today. I would have liked to see a little F2 usage there from Harstem because these Phoenixes, they're all the way on the edge.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's 3 at the top here doing nothing, and a couple patrolling on the right. That definitely would have been very, very helpful in that attack, for sure. So small mistake, but he is still alive. The game is not over yet.
That Widow Mine will get taken out as well. I'd love to see a Colossus. Just get maybe like research charge right now and start spending all your minerals. Oh, he actually spending the minerals not going to be that hard. Like couple cannons, Nexus, 3-3. I would kind of like to see charge just to have a mineral dump, you know, that's actually useful. Or maybe another prism. Like the Robo should always be active, I think, in this phase in the game. He didn't lose the Robo, right? Like, can we confirm this? Did he lose the Robo?
No, there it is. So I actually really love what you just said there. To go into charge makes a lot of sense, considering he's floating around 1,000 minerals and he's struggling to spend it all. He's dropping more production, and he's going to have very, very beefy Protoss units when these upgrades kick in. Disruptor shot heading off there, does get the Widow Mine. It's always nice.
Harstem is in a pretty sweet position, but obviously it's not over yet. This is still TY that we're talking about, and he can always make a comeback. He's doing some serious work right now in this 4th Nexus.
Yeah, 4th Nexus shields are gone. It's starting to get hull damage. It's very, very, very low, and it's going to go down. TY picks it off. +3 not quite done yet, and this bio is about to get even scarier than it was before.
More Adepts trying to find an opening on the right side of the map, but TY is not going to fall for that one again. He's like, no, that has happened 4 or 5 times in this game. This time I will be ready. Still somehow ends up losing 2 SCVs, but that's about it.
Harstem very good at dealing with these Widow Mines here with the Disruptor. He's not getting those big, juicy splash damage hits on the Marines and Marauders, though. Force field coming down to make things a little bit easier. Does pick up a couple of the bio here. This Protoss army is quite scary. His upgrades aren't too bad either.
Yeah, but Harstem has to be careful. I don't think he can run all the way to the other side of the map without a War Prism like we saw him do on Cactus Valley. It kind of worked there because he had Colossus and stuff as well. This time he does not. All the money that Harstem once upon a time had is suddenly gone. But good news is that he does have his 3-2 upgrades about to finish up.
And he does have a 4th Nexus to mine from again. Pretty shortly. Three quarters done here.
Only has 2 probes on that 6th simulator. Be maybe nice to saturate that.
Alright, TY looking for another cancel in this 4th. Hitting just, he's got +3 attack now. Harstem actually getting stuck a little bit here. His army's in a very awkward spot, and TY has a huge concave. This Disruptor shot was quite nice on the right there, but not enough. TY with way too much army supply here and a much better position.
Yeah, good upgrades there as well. +3 really kicking in. Now it's just Stalkers left, and normally just Stalkers is not enough. Can Harstem somehow buy enough time? The Medifacts are kind of out of energy. It would be nice. Oh, he gets a Disruptor shot, but he dies.
The Disruptor died just in time there. That one got a nice shot, but was it too little, too late? Doesn't look like it. The Stalkers are still alive and they're coming forward. Oh, nice micro here from TY, keeping that the last Marauder alive. He's reinforcing with some of his Marauders, and these Marauders again are 3-2. Guardian Shield being quite nice. Finally, TY microing this battle a little bit, getting rid of the Guardian Shield sentry, and it looks like with his reinforcement, he should be able to clean this up.
Oh, it's so close. The Adepts are being incredibly annoying, absorbing a lot of damage. Maybe Harstem can have one more forward blink and get another Medevac. What a game, Maynard.
Jesus.
But I mean, TY does have 4 bases and Harstem does not, and I think this is going to make the biggest difference. I would have loved to see Harstem try to expand somewhere else, maybe on the right side of his natural. Like, I actually think that would have been sweeter, because this was just a terrible concave to fight in.
Yeah, it's really awkward. Abyssal Reef has a lot of really skinny pathways, and well, I mean, there are a lot of them. You kind of get to your opponent so many different ways, but it is very, very skinny, and it's, you know, he fought in a choke.
Oh, he found the Phoenixes.
Oh, here they are. They're back. Hello, Liberators. It's Phoenix time. TY forgot about those. The Liberators are going down. Bio on the ground, still doing pretty well. Again, Harstem in a bit of a choke here. TY with a bit of a concave, but the Phoenix is helping out a ton here, lifting up those important, scary Marauders, but it doesn't look like there's enough.
No Adepts anymore, and if there are no Adepts, these Stalkers are just a little too fragile. Marauders push out too much damage. GG, well played. TY wins, but boy, did he have to work for it.
Yeah, it's good to see Harstem put up a fight there. He is going to go 0-6 in the group.
No, 1 and 5.
1 and 5, sorry.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, wait, 1 and 6, sorry.
1 and 6.
Yeah, he did take a map.
That's right, he did.
He's 0 and 3 in best of 3, he's 1 and 6 in maps.
Bam, there it is. Still alive in the group,
Mm-hmm.
but a little bit rough on the map score. Anyways, Harstem. Sticking it to TY there in game number 2 is a really cool highlight in this tournament as far as foreigner versus Korean goes. You don't see that close a game from time to time. I mean, obviously Snoot beyond game 1 on, was it Proxima?
Yep.
Yeah, really sick game as well. Probably game of the tournament for me. I mean, you know me, I love my TVZ.
I know.
So,
a couple of the PvT between Stats and TY on Proxima was godlike as well. And I actually thought that this game was incredibly entertaining, really close. I think if Harstem expands somewhere else or tries to maybe go into Colossus or finds a different use, if he brings the Phoenixes over before when he's trying to defend his fort base, a lot of buts and ifs, but great game all around. I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was awesome from both sides. And obviously, you know, you got to give a lot of kudos for TY, because early on he was looking for openings, he wasn't finding them, started losing a lot of SCVs. This is where a lot of Terran players will somehow start running into a brick wall. TY made sure there never was a brick wall.
he's a little bit too good, and he does win that series in the end. Guys, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to have an interview with TY, and then head over to the boys at the desk, see what's up with the other games here happening in Group B. See you soon.